Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. 844-374-5433, 844-374-5433. Give that number a call. Check out the website, drglidden.com, and or the new URL, glidden.healthcare. They both point to the same website. Glidden.healthcare is where you need to go today. For those of you new to the listening audience, I'm a licensed naturopathic physician, 27 years of clinical experience. In order to become a naturopathic physician in the United States, you need to have 4 years of pre-med, 4 years of naturopathic medical school, 1,000 hours of clinical supervision, more or less. You need to pass national boards, state boards, and pursue continuing education credit every year in order to fulfill your license requirements. I just came back from the great state of Oregon, the really fun city of Portland, Oregon, where my mentor, colleague, and friend and I, Dr. Joel Wallach, did a 2-day continuing education course in order to get some continuing education credits to fulfill the licensing requirements of naturopathic medicine. And I have to tell you, it is a day of mourning now, because my experience and Dr. Wallach's experience of the crap that we were taught at the Naturopathic Medical Continuing Education Conference was unbelievably un-naturopathic. And it was startling. It was remarkable. It was disturbing. And quite frankly, it shook me a little bit to my bones. Dr. Wallach, not so much, because he's more of a seasoned veteran, more of a pragmatist than I am. I tend to be an idealist, so Wallach is a pragmatist. But in any event, I'll give you just a little snapshot. The last lecture that we went to, the very last lecture that we went to, was a lecture given by a naturopathic doctor, about ethics around the treatment of rheumatological conditions and, generally speaking, arthritis, the ethics of treating arthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. And the basic take-home message from her presentation was that if you are a naturopathic physician and you do not use methotrexate and prednisone and conventional pharmaceutical interventions with your rheumatoid arthritis patients, then you are practicing substandard medical care, you're hurting your patients, and you need to just snap to it and be more on board. And it was a startling thing to me, right, because it's a naturopathic medical conference. It's not a conventional medical conference. And remember, different dogs for different jobs. Conventional medicine is great for certain things. Thank God for Novocaine, right? Thank God for prednisone under certain circumstances. Thank God for morphine under certain circumstances, right? Every time I'm in the dentist chair, thank God for Novocaine. But different therapeutics for different conditions, and more importantly, different types of medicine: chiropractic medicine, acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine, naturopathic medicine, homeopathic medicine, allopathic MD medicine, all are informed by their own philosophies, which that particular physician is supposed to adhere to and espouse in developing their treatment strategies, right? So you would not expect a chiropractor to recommend open heart surgery for someone, right? You would not expect an acupuncturist to recommend a homeopathic treatment, right? You would expect them to do what they were trained in, which toes the line inside of their own particular paradigm. That's why these different schools of thought exist. So, naturopathic medicine has morphed over the last 15 years, more or less, into some strange hybridized green allopathic medicine, where naturopathic doctors are no longer trained in the effective use of primary care naturopathic therapeutics. They're trained in the use of herbs, vitamins, homeopathy, acupuncture to offset the net negative effects of the drugs, so the drugs will work better. You get that? And this is becoming the new normal. This is becoming the new naturopathic medicine. So at the end of the lecture that this woman gave, this naturopathic physician gave, I politely raised my hand and I asked the question, so I am to understand that as a naturopathic doctor, you have never, I said, have you ever treated arthritis as a naturopathic doctor, or rheumatoid arthritis as a naturopathic doctor, without the use of drugs? And proudly, she said no. And then she went on to tell me this is her specialty, that she sees hundreds of people a month, and that she never, ever not uses drugs. And then I said, and you're a naturopathic physician? And she said, yes, proudly so. And someone in the back of the room, who I'm assuming went to school with her and was an advocate of hers or something, maybe a friend, I don't know, piped up and said, and I would argue that the doctor, whatever her name was, is practicing really good naturopathic medicine, and half the room applauded. And I was in shock. I was in shock. So, because here's the way that it went down. Here's what happened. When you apply any particular therapeutic, so this doctor applies different naturopathic therapeutics inappropriately or ineffectively, and they don't work. So rather than investigating other therapeutics inside of the field of naturopathic medicine, or trying perhaps on her own to expand the horizons of naturopathic medicine, while maintaining integrity inside of naturopathic medical philosophy, while perhaps attempting to understand why the stuff that she was taught was ineffective here, and what else she could do naturopathically to intervene and to attempt to cure the condition, she just assumes that the cure is not possible. And what does she do? Instead of forwarding naturopathic therapeutics, attempting to figure it out naturopathically, she bails and uses drugs. And then uses naturopathic therapeutics to help offset the net negative effects of the drugs. And this is the new normal inside of naturopathic medicine. Meanwhile, right, Dr. Wallach and I are looking at each other, and Wallach leans over to me and he says, what are they teaching these people in school? And I had to admit, I just don't know. You know, we were in school in the 80s. I graduated in 1991, the late 80s, right? Wallach graduated, I think, in 1984. Don't quote me on that. So naturopathic medicine was very different back then, but still, one would assume, would you not, that if you went to chiropractic school, if you went to acupuncture or traditional Chinese medical school, that you would be taught the philosophy of those particular disciplines. You would be grounded in those philosophies, and that you would attempt to treat people 100% of the time with the treatments that were inside of your philosophy. And when those treatments failed, you would perhaps talk to other experts in your field who had better results than you had. But no. The trend apparently inside of naturopathic medical education now is to use naturopathic therapeutics, vitamins, minerals, herbs, homeopathic medicine, acupuncture, hydrotherapy, in order to offset the net negative effects of the drugs, because the drugs are the only thing that can be effective here. So this is some type of green allopathic medicine, right? It's this strange hybridization of naturopathic foundation, naturopathic medicine, and allopathic medicine. And it is the only reason that it exists is because the people that are in charge of the schools, the people that are in charge of the education, and the people that are running the clinics who are teaching the students, they don't have very much, they have some, they don't have very much experience with pragmatic, science-based, clinically verified naturopathic therapeutics. Honestly, I got a very good education in medicine. I got a very good education in pathophysiology. I got a very good education in anatomy. I got a very good education in naturopathic philosophy. And I got really good results in my career until I met Dr. Wallach. And then I got remarkable results. And the information that I learned from Dr. Wallach about pathophysiology and about how to intervene with naturopathic therapeutics was different than anything that I had received education on in school, and the therapeutics that Dr. Wallach rolls out are 100 times more effective than anything that I had been taught before, anything that I had had experience with. And this is the problem. Because for some reason, and maybe it's political, maybe it's personal, I don't really know, Dr. Wallach is not admired, is not looked up to inside of the naturopathic community. I think it's because he had the audacity to set his company up as a network marketing company. I think that's why that happened. But who knows how people think, who knows why people think. The fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, that naturopathic medicine is not naturopathic medicine anymore. It's green allopathic medicine. I can count on one hand the naturopathic physicians in the country right now, licensed, working in clinical settings right now. I count on one hand the number of naturopathic doctors whom I would feel comfortable recommending patients to go and see. This is a big, big problem for the profession. I do not know what's going to happen. If I had to guess, I would guess that within 50 years, naturopathic medicine would be in the same boat as osteopathic medicine, that you will not be able to tell the difference between the two, and naturopathic medicine will slowly die. Big Pharma's up to it again. They're not attacking us on the front lines. They're invading us insidiously through the back lines while being supported by doctors who are not grounded at all inside of naturopathic therapeutics. Stick around, more to come. Dr. Peter Glidden here. Thanks so much for clicking on the link. I appreciate your trust and your curiosity. Last year in the United States, we spent over $30 billion on nutritional supplements, and everybody's still sick. When it comes to nutritional supplements, the recipe is everything. All wine is made from grapes, but there's a great deal of difference from bottle to bottle depending on too many variables to count. It's the same with nutritional supplements. If you need to spend hard-earned money on nutritional supplements, which you do because medical insurance doesn't pay for it, did you ever wonder why? Well, that's the subject for an entirely different conversation. But in point of fact, our position is, in order for the body to work the way that God and nature intended it, there are 90 essential nutrients that need to be imported into it on a daily basis. These 90 essential nutrients are not all present in the food supply. You must supplement. It's mandatory. You must give your body the raw materials it needs every day to optimize its structure and function. You must give your body a fighting chance. So you need nutritional supplements. Well, which nutritional supplements should you take? That's the million-dollar question. I've been doing naturopathic medicine, practicing naturopathic medical therapeutics in clinical settings for over a quarter of a century now. And as God is my witness, I am here to tell you that the nutritional supplements which produce the most consistent, effective results are those developed and delivered by Youngevity. If you have finally snapped out of it and seen the light, if you are finally convinced that medical nutrition is what your body has been missing your entire life, and if you're ready to take a walk through the undiscovered country of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, then you need to try Youngevity's nutritional supplements, because they produce the most consistent results of anything I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot in over a quarter of a century of primary care naturopathic medicine. Fill out the form on this page, ladies and gentlemen, click the submit button, and a Youngevity representative whom I know and trust will be in touch with you to show you what to do to support and promote your body's ability to optimize its structure and function. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your trust. I am your steadfast advocate for health, Dr. Peter Glidden. Live long and prosper. I'll see you around campus. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Thanks so much for tuning in and turning on. 844-374-5433, 844-374-5433. We're going to go to Mark in Ohio in just a second. But I wanted to finish up here and underline this point. This is an important point. Most people do not know what naturopathic medicine is. Most people don't even know how to pronounce naturopathic medicine. The naturopathic physicians are only licensed in 18 states in the United States. We have full insurance coverage in 5, I think, of those 18 states. And, you know, naturopathic medicine is a profession which is attempting to define itself and rise up into the mainstream. And we're doing a very good job of it. However, I have been outside of the loop of what's happening in the educational sphere of naturopathic medicine, and I just assumed naturopathic medicine is naturopathic medicine is naturopathic medicine, and, you know, it's not going to change, but it's changing. Because the people that are in charge don't understand naturopathic philosophy. And because they don't understand the philosophy, the philosophical underpinnings of naturopathic medicine, the students that they're matriculating are leaving school with an incomplete understanding. And when they're up against, a big bad voodoo daddy disease with a patient in real time in their office, and the bag of tricks that they have at their disposal doesn't work, they're going to bail, and they're going to prescribe drugs, because every medical doctor in the world is saying prescribe drugs, prescribe drugs, prescribe drugs. They don't want to look bad, right? And so they will err on the side of caution. But in this case, when they err on the side of caution, they're also erring on the side of harm, because remember, the drug, when delivered this way, does not cure the disease. It manages the symptoms, doesn't cure the disease. Another interesting thing, I asked the woman who was giving the lecture, because, right, it was about ethics and how you needed to make sure that the inflammation was getting better and that the joint mobility was getting better. Otherwise, over time is going to be a big problem, right? And so I asked her, well, look, I'm not arguing that the therapeutics that you've employed, the naturopathic therapeutics, are ineffective. But I would argue that you need to look inside of the naturopathic profession for other treatments that are effective, because you basically just don't know what you're doing. And in order to compare apples to apples, you have to look at the long-term effects of what the drugs are doing. Because the drugs are not curing the arthritic condition, they're simply managing it. And so I asked her what was her experience with the use of pharmaceutical medicine, exclusively pharmaceutical medicine, in the treatment of these arthritic patients. And she says, oh, we have very, very good results. Very, very good results. That's why we do it so much. And then you go online and you look up what really happens. And what happens is the symptoms go into remission, and then they come back, and they go into remission, and then they come back, they go into remission, and then they come back, they go into remission, and then they come back. And the doctor understands that, or the doctor believes that when the illness is in remission, they've done their job. And when it comes back, that's just life, because nobody knows how to cure arthritis. And you see, this is the kind of tilted aspect that they bring to bear here. So even when the allopathic therapies, which they advised, are not curative, they still ride that horse because they think it's the best thing since the sterile technique. Oh, this is a fantastic therapy. Look at all these inflammatory markers. They came down. Oh, the joint mobility is so much better now. Yeah, for 3 months, till it comes back. And then until it comes back, and then until it comes back, and then until it comes back. And then what happens 15 years from now? Oh, no. You know, that's not our obligation. My obligation is to just increase the quality of the patient's life today. Well, not if you're a naturopath. If you're a naturopath, your sacred duty is to cure the condition, to bring the patient into a state of health. And if you cannot do that, then you just simply shouldn't be a naturopathic doctor. Go to medical school, become an MD. God love you. There's room in the world for everybody. But do not tell me that the use of pharmaceuticals exclusively, and then primarily, and then backing them up with naturopathic therapeutics is naturopathic medicine. It most certainly is not. It is a weird hybridization of allopathic medicine and naturopathic medicine, and it will ring the death knell for the profession if we do not pay.
If you are sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, if you are finally finished with expensive and ineffective MD treatments, and if you are frustrated with not knowing which nutritional supplements to take, you have come to exactly the right place. We are here to help. Log into eiffelhealth.com, click the contact button, and someone who has been working with Dr. Glidden will contact you and show you exactly what to do to recover your health. Go to eiffelhealth.com, that's eiffelhealth.com, and click the contact button now.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Let's go to Mark in Ohio and see what's cracking. Hey, Mark, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hey, Dr. Glidden. Good to hear you back on the air and bringing the fire. I had a little issue where I had some excessive gas, and it ended up developing an inguinal hernia.
Ouch.
Yeah, so bulge was like 2 inches wide, 2 inches length, pretty big bulge, and it got really to the point where any movement was difficult. I look up, this was a Friday evening of last week, I look up what I can do for myself at the house since it's Friday, and, I didn't really want to go to the emergency room. So I see that homeopathic lycopodium is indicated for it. I take 1 dose of the lycopodium. I lay down for 5 hours. I wake up. I move my hips around in bed, and I get up and I start walking without any pain. The bulge reduced 80%.
Yeah.
And I'm still ginger. But I'm staying the course. I've been staying the course with the lycopodium. I also have Nux vomica, and I started taking that the next day to kind of help with some of the dizziness and nausea. And I'm taking systemic enzymes, collagen. I'm waiting. I got glucogel on order. And Fucoid Z. So I'm just seeing what I can do. If they need to stay the course with the homeopathics, what else I can do to dial this in and get this baby on the right side.
Okay, so did the gas just kind of show up all of a sudden, or has that been a constant companion over time?
It happened for about a week. Mm-hmm. It was like right before Thanksgiving.
But in your life, was this something that would come and go, or was this kind of a new thing that you'd never had before?
It's kind of a new thing, yeah.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so most of the time when we get this experience, it kind of comes out of the blue like this. The first thing that so there's a number of things that I would like to talk to you about here, the homeopathic notwithstanding. But before we get to the homeopathic stuff, which is important for you to understand, I would realize this as one of two things. Sometimes there are some people who are deficient in the trace mineral molybdenum, that if they eat foods that are high in garlic, they will get massive amounts of gas. So I guess this begs the question, before this happened, were you like vertently or inadvertently eating foods that were chock full of garlic or not?
I did do a lot of garlic during a liver cleanse that I did back in early November.
Yeah, so I would say that would be the culprit here, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, you're also, because of this molybdenum thing, you are also a candidate for carpal tunnel syndrome, because carpal tunnel syndrome, one of the leading nutritional deficiencies associated with carpal tunnel, is a molybdenum deficiency. And I guess that begs the question, have you experienced any like wrist kind of arthritic pain symptoms so far in your life or not?
Yes. I used to work a job where I used to do a lot of repetitive motion with my hands, physical labor, yeah. And so, yeah, I did have that. And, of course, when I started taking Youngevity, 4 or 5 years ago, that stuff started to correct itself somewhat.
So what I would do, right, so this is interesting, isn't it? So what I would do is, and kind of understand, right, that Youngevity, what we do with Youngevity is provide all 90 essential nutrients in absorbable recipes that anybody can, assimilate. And then on top of that, once we've secured the necessary foundation stuff, then we do extra stuff, right? Extra blood sugar stuff if there's type 2 diabetes or type 1 diabetes, extra bone and joint stuff if there's arthritis, and so forth and so on. So, regretfully, Youngevity doesn't have a nutritional supplement that has, like, it's high in molybdenum, right? Like the selenium supplement, high in selenium, or the new niacin supplement, high in niacin. So you're going to have to go to the health food store and find a standalone supplement that has molybdenum in it.
Yes, because I did notice that they were low in that even before I really figured out how much I needed it. I started throwing in some multiple tablets that have, 100 mics.
Yeah, no, you need a standalone molybdenum if you can find it. If you can't find it, call back to the radio show tomorrow. I'll do some homework after the show tonight. I'll call a couple of the nutritional supplement manufacturers that I know and see what we can come up with.
Okay, great.
The only other thing to do for you would be to double down on the plant-derived minerals. Take more plant-derived minerals all by themselves, because that has molybdenum in it. That's one way to do this. Now, here's the deal with homeopathic treatment, and this is important to know. Number one, with homeopathic medicine, in order to produce a physiological response, you have to hit the bullseye. You have to give exactly the right homeopathic medicine. It's like creating musical harmony. The notes either sound good or they don't sound good. And if they sound good, then you've hit the bullseye. And when you get dramatic, positive change with a homeopathic medicine, especially if it's inside of 24 hours, you do not alter the dose. And interestingly, homeopathic nux vomica is referred to as the universal antidote, because sometimes if you take the wrong homeopathic medicine and you take too much of it, you can develop side effects of the homeopathic medicine. They're not harmful. You could argue that over time they're actually beneficial, but they are in fact annoyances, and they're symptoms that you never had before, and they're caused by the presence of the homeopathic medicine in your body. And when that happens, if we give nux vomica to people, nux vomica will eliminate the effects of the previously taken homeopathic medicine. So if lycopodium was the bullseye remedy for you, which it sounds to me like it was, when you take the nux vomica, you will negate the positive effects of the lycopodium, and it'll be 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, and you will not be served well over time. So alternating homeopathic medicines is never a good idea, number one. And the only time we switch to a different homeopathic medicine is if the first homeopathic medicine that we took didn't do anything, right? And that happens a lot. You'll give somebody a remedy, it's not the bullseye, nothing happens. You'll give somebody a remedy, it's not the bullseye, nothing happens. You'll give somebody a remedy, eureka, everything happens. And under the influence of the homeopathic medicine, you should not expect inside of 24 hours a complete, utter, and total resolution of the problem. Homeopathic medicine plays itself out over time. So my advice to you is to go back to the lycopodium, but here's how I would do it from now on. I would get a glass of water. Better, I would go do you live near a Whole Foods?
Yes.
All right. So go to Whole Foods today and get a blue glass 4-ounce spray bottle. They're like $2.50. A 4-ounce
Right.
blue glass spray bottle. All right. Inside that bottle, I'd like you to put half a teaspoon of brandy, and then fill it to the top with distilled water. Fill it to the top with distilled water. So, like 3.5 ounces of water and a half an ounce of brandy, okay? And into that solution, I want you to drop 2 of the pellets of the lycopodium. 2. Then I want you to put the spray top on it, and I want you to take that bottle and pound it forcefully on a thick book like a Yellow Pages. Pound it forcefully 10 times. Boom, 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 10 times. And now it's ready to go. Now, because it has the brandy in it, you do not need to refrigerate it. And now you have the solution, and I would put a little label on the outside, get a little sticky or something, and put it on it and say, lycopodium, and then put the date at which it was made. And once a day, 3 times a day for the next 3 days, I would take 3 sprays of the lycopodium. So you get the bottle, you hold it up to your mouth, you spray 3 sprays of it into your mouth, and then you put the remedy away somewhere, and then a couple hours later you do the same thing, and then a couple hours later you do the same thing. Do not take the sprays of the lycopodium between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Do not take the sprays of the lycopodium between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m., okay? Any other time is good. And I want you to do 3 sprays a day for the next 3 days, and then look to see how the hernia is. And if you are not 100% out of the woods, then every 3 days, I want you to do 3 sprays of the homeopathic lycopodium. But I want you to stop the homeopathic lycopodium at the end of December. Don't take it longer than the month of December. And if this is still a problem by the end of December, I would be really surprised. Is one more thing you need to understand about homeopathic lycopodium. It is a wonderful remedy. It is called a polycrest, and it is one of 3 remedies that homeopathic medicine bases its foundation treatment strategy on. Homeopathic medicine it's like the prince of homeopathic medicines. However, lycopodium has a reputation for producing side effects, even when it is the correctly prescribed medicine. So, as you go downstream with the sprays of lycopodium, if during that time you experience the appearance of a brand new symptom, something you've never had before, like all of a sudden you start getting headaches, all of a sudden you start to get a sore throat, all of a sudden you grow an 11th finger, right? Whatever. Anything new develops, you stop the lycopodium. Just stop it, because that's a signal that you've taken too much of it, and you need to just relax and let it ride. And one of the interesting things about a properly prescribed homeopathic medicine is that it continues to work after you stop taking it, which is fascinating. And it flies in the face of common logic, but nonetheless, there it is. So that's what I'd like to counsel you to do with the homeopathic stuff. Now, there's one more thing, actually 2 more things that are at play here. Regardless of the gas and the garlic situation, it would be advised for you to eat 1 apple a day, because another contributing factor to the appearance of gas is not enough fiber in the digestive tract. And apple pectin is almost a perfect fiber for the human being. So I would get into the habit of eating 1 organic apple every day, and see whether or not that helps. And there is a yoga pose. You can look this up online. It's called the wind eliminating pose.
If you are sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, if you are finally finished with expensive and ineffective MD treatments, and if you are frustrated with not knowing which nutritional supplements to take, you have come to exactly the right place. We are here to help. Log into eiffelhealth.com, click the contact button, and someone who has been working with Dr. Glidden will contact you and show you exactly what to do to recover your health. Go to eiffelhealth.com, that's eiffelhealth.com, and click the contact button now.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden, you're a steadfast advocate for health. Mark in Ohio, are you still with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So the wind eliminating pose in yoga, do it for, 5 minutes twice a day in a room all by yourself, and that will help. And now, over time, as the wind, the gas accumulation starts to let up and the soft tissue in the abdominal area strengthens itself with the glucogel, you should be good to go. You may also want to see if there's a massage therapist or a chiropractor in your area who is skilled in a physical manipulation technique called the Bowen technique. B like beta, O like Oscar, W like whiskey, E like Edward, N like Nancy, the Bowen technique. That's a physical technique where they actually go in and they push the hernia back into your abdomen. So that's what I would do. And give me a call back tomorrow. I'll see if I can't track down a molybdenum donor for you. Does that make sense?
Excellent. Thank you very much, Dr. Glidden.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call, Mark. Thanks for all your support and your patience. I appreciate it very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an active chat room in my website. And in order to get access to the live stream of my video program and the live chat, you need to become a Dr. Glidden advocate, It's a $20 a month subscription. And when you become a Dr. Glidden advocate, not only will you have access to the live video stream of the radio program and the chat room, you'll also have access to hundreds of hours of archived videos, podcasts, and live webinars that we do on a weekly basis. Check it out. Knowledge is power. My people are destroyed by lack of education, and we are going a long way towards fixing this problem with this online educational service, the Dr. Glidden Advocate. Check it out. Larry in the Advocate room says, Doc, how many bottles of EFA should we take a month if we are attempting to support lung health? Well, generally speaking, right, it's one bottle of EFA plus per 100 pounds of body weight per month. One bottle of EFA plus per 100 pounds of body weight per month. If you are suffering from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or bronchiolitis or asthma, then you can take more. How much more? I don't know. Nobody knows, but it's always better to err on the side of excess rather than not enough. So I would add to the one bottle per 100 pounds of body weight per month. If you're interested in a therapeutic intervention, I would add 2 extra bottles a month, and I would go with the EFA plus. Another question from the chat room. I'd like to just take a couple of questions, finish out the show in the chat room today. Give the listening audience a sense of what they're missing. Dale Ann in the chat room says, hey, Doc, why do I recommend OsteoFX be taken at bedtime with orange juice? Also, is iron included in the Healthy Start Pack, or do we need to supplement iron at all? Great question. So, the OsteoFX, of course, is a donor of calcium and magnesium. And OsteoFX is amongst the most easily absorbed and assimilated calcium supplements on the market right now. As a matter of fact, I am not aware of any calcium supplements anywhere in the world that are more easily absorbed than the OsteoFX, and we owe Dr. Wallach a debt of gratitude for that. Now, even though it's easily absorbed, we want to push the envelope here because that's what we do. And with nutritional supplementation, it's not what you take, it's what you absorb, right? So anything that we can do to facilitate absorption is not a bad idea, and that's why we mix the liquid calcium with citrus juice. It doesn't have to be orange juice, it can be any citrus juice, pineapple juice, right? Orange, pineapple, banana. Because when you do it like that, it increases the absorbability. The citric acid increases the absorbability of the calcium and the magnesium in the stomach, and you do not need to take extracurricular iron. You get enough iron in the plant-derived minerals and the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Ladies and gentlemen, where does the time go? We are all out of it right now. I appreciate your support and your trust. Live long and prosper. I'll see you around campus. Glidden.healthcare. Check it out. See you tomorrow.